Today we're going to take a look at the SMI Air Force One supplemental braking system on this 2009 Ford van. Now all we talk about today in this Ford van is going to apply to all vans out there. Yeah, this one looks a little bit different, it's been heavily modified, but all we've done in our braking system will apply to all E350 vans that are out there. Now the function of our braking system is to help your motorhome and your van slow down at the same time. This will provide better handling during your braking event. As you're going down the road, what's really neat, if you have your monitoring system on your motorhome, when your braking system activates the brakes, you'll see this light come on. You should see that in your monitor. With our Air Force One braking system all set up and good to go, you know that you'll be going down the road and being safe, and then being safe with everybody else around you as you go down the road. One of the coolest things about our braking system here is that it's user-friendly. Basically, once you get your air hose here, you plug it in, after you connect it to your motorhome, it literally is plug and play. You have your vehicle in tow mode already, and there's nothing else to do. And depending on the vehicle, you probably have quite a few steps to put in tow mode. At least with this, you have one less step to worry about. Now this braking system is best for motorhomes like this one right here. Basically, it's a bus pulling an E350 van. Even though it looks like a lot of material here holding this back, this van actually will push it in a braking event. So this is great to use with your air brakes on your motorhome, because this will work proportionally on the brakes on your van. Touching on a proportional thing, our tag axle here works in proportion with our front axle. What's cool about the SMI braking system is that it actually converts your van into basically another tag axle system. So this will allow the same proportional braking that's happening here all the way back on your van. A couple other good things to know about the braking system is, for one, it's required by law in all states. One other thing you probably won't notice until you have to pay for it is that with a proportional braking system on your van, your motorhome brakes are going to have to work as hard. So in other words, it's better to spend money on your braking system than more money spent on your brakes, so it's probably more expensive when the time comes. On the towed vehicle side of things, being proportional, it'll only apply the brakes when they're needed, compared to some other systems out there that may just push on the brakes until you completely let go. Let's go ahead and take a look at our install now of the braking system. First off, what's really cool about it is that it's out of sight and out of mind, just as a lot of reviews say. Unless you know where to look, you won't really see it. Take a look at our brake pedal here, and you can see our cylinder that activates the brakes. This part is pretty simple to install. What it does basically clamps onto your brake pedal here. Our cylinder has a cable that goes out to your firewall with its own anchor point here. This is what our cylinder works against when you're braking. So I can take this, I'll hold the cylinder as it works, and it pulls it away. Keep in mind, where this comes down and up to your anchor point, you get about 1 inch of play. And make sure when it's all said and done, you have about a 1/2 inch of play, maybe 3/4 inch of up and down movement, and you'll be good to go. Now remember our indicator light that was on top of the dash that you watch when you're going down the road? That gets the signal from right here on this cylinder. There's a little reed switch here that activates that light, and that gets routed up towards the top. To route the wire wherever you want, we just went behind our seal right here and tucked in behind the plastic. It was pretty easy. You just work your way up to this corner, and then you can route it on top wherever you want. There's plenty of leads, so you can put it down to the bottom like we did here, or you could run it along the side and the edge, and if you had a rear view mirror, you can hang it off your rear view mirror. Let's take a look underneath the hood here, and this is the operating unit. This is the meat and potatoes of the system. This takes the input from your motorhome and converts it in proportional and goes out to your cylinder that was inside we just looked at. Now you've seen these airline tubing here, industry standard. They're durable. You're not going to hurt them. You're not going to beat them up. Just be careful on how you run them. But one will go to the inside to the cylinder, and one will go down and around to your outlet here at the bottom. Wiring is pretty simple. We have 2 wires on our operating unit. It may look distracting because there's 2 black colors. Doesn't matter which one, but one has to go to ground, and then one goes to power. And also, this one wire will go to the blue wire for your breakaway switch, and that'll connect to your power wire, which will go up, which we grab power off this convenient point up here. And we just talked about a breakaway switch, that gets located down here towards the bottom. And what this does, in case your van comes totally disconnected from your motorhome, this will pull out, and this has a small charge system inside the operating unit, so it'll activate the brakes. Now this will keep pressure on the brakes until you reinstall the key. Quick tip on your switch here, maybe tempting just to pull it out when you're done, but actually use the carabiner to disconnect it. You always want to leave this installed in the switch. Personally, I think working on the van or a towed vehicle side is probably the most time-consuming part. Even though you think working on an RV and crawling underneath it is going to be kind of scary, it's actually the easier part of the job. I'm going to lift this hatch up, and I'll show you one of the main components. This is our air tank assembly here that takes the air from the motorhome and gets it ready to send air to our towed vehicle. It uses the same airline tubing as we did before, and it comes out to this quick disconnect for your umbilical cord. Once you have this mounted, basically there's only 2 more connections to make. When you're mounting this into the motorhome, no matter where you put it, you want to keep it away from something hot, but also this silver assembly here, you want it just pointing down towards the ground or at a 45-degree angle. That makes it work best. You don't want to have this on top or sideways. Now this tank does require 2 lines from the RV. There'll be one that's supply air, which means the air that supplies all the systems on here, so those charge the tank, and then there'll be a metered air connection. The metered air actually controls how much braking goes through, so when you hit your brake pedal, the metered air does the work. Let's crawl underneath the motorhome and see where our connections are to our line. And by the way, we're working on a Spartan K2 chassis with a tag axle. Our supply line, or supply air, will come from this large green line right here. That's the one on top. And then if we look down below, on our tag axle, it'll go into this fitting right here. Now there was just a plug here originally with a square end on it, so you take that plug out, and when the kit comes with a correct fitting to thread right into place. And then this is a push connect fitting for your airline once again. Quick note about our other components that we may recommend for your towing system. We have a Roadmaster Blackhawk 2 tow bar here. This is a great setup. It works fine. It's really neat because it's got the cables that run inside. Also, your electrical cord runs inside as well, so you don't have to worry about stuff hanging down aside from your airline and your breakaway switch cord. Everything else is held nice and neat. And with that, I'll finish for the SMI Air Force One braking system on our 2009 Ford E350 van.